Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be going over everything about the Knights of Ren. Their backstory, their names, their descriptions, all of that. So that's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
I have spoken.
Hello there to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding me for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video and any other video from the channel that you check out, and be sure to hit that notification bell so that the bell is completely filled in, as this is the way you will never miss a new video the second it goes live.
Do it!
Before we get into it, I'm going to throw out just a light spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen The Rise of Skywalker yet. If you're really excited to see the Knights of Ren and you haven't seen the movie yet, there's going to be spoilers obviously about the Knights of Ren in this video, so please consider this your spoiler warning. With that out of the way, we're going to start going over some of the Knights of Ren's backstory. So, here's what we have, and a lot of this information comes from the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary, which is essentially a coffee table book that just has a bunch of new tidbits of information about the Rise of Skywalker. So, here's what we have about the Knights of Ren's backstory. Quote, "The scattered settlements of the unknown regions and the adjacent border territories tell cautionary tales of dangers lurking in unmapped space. Local folklore has warned for centuries of marauders known as the Knights of Ren. Since the rise of the First Order, myth has become reality. Whether or not this gang of dark warriors are truly connected to that ancient tradition, or are wrapping themselves in the name and reputation of legends is not known, nor consequential. For whatever their origins, they are a force to be reckoned with. The Knights were gifted to Ben Solo by Supreme Leader Snoke, who promised the fallen Jedi apprentice powerful followers if he proved worthy. After a grueling trial, Kylo Ren emerged to lead them. The Knights of Ren are force sensitive, but to a stunted degree. In past generations, they would have been perfect stock to become Imperial Inquisitors, if they could be tamed. The group was once commanded by a vicious leader, known only as Ren. Kylo Ren is the inheritor of the Knights of Ren, not the original leader. Only Kylo Ren can command the Knights of Ren, much to the displeasure of the First Order Supreme Council. As Supreme Leader, Kylo Ren looks to the Knights of Ren as his own equivalent of Snoke's Praetorian Guard. The Knights of Ren ride in what is called the Night Buzzard ship. The Knights of Ren travel aboard a customized ship known as the Night Buzzard. It started life as a dungeon ship from Osiridan, a penal world in the unknown regions, that the Knights were hired to raid. Freeing the prisoners, the Knights also liberated one of the prisoner transports, altering its appearance to fit with their dark style. Its engine systems have to be crudely modified to generate more thrust. This comes at a cost to its insulation baffles, which spew thick, noxious smoke as the ship flies. Getting into the names of the Knights of Ren, first we have Vikrul. Vikrul sees himself as the Harvester, the Reaper of the Fallen, and the Targeter of Souls. Every unfortunate victim to fall to his weapons augments his power. The dark side, though it may be muted by his lack of force training, surges in him with each hateful strike. Vikrul relishes this, and prefers to eliminate his targets at a close range, though he keeps a blaster pistol at the ready in case he should need it. Vikrul's latent force abilities manifest themselves in heightened reflexes and the power to magnify fear in his prey, though these abilities come unbidden and uncontrolled. Next up, Cardo. While most of the Knights of Ren strike with exacting precision, Cardo's approach leaves wide swaths of destruction. His hefty arm cannon packs more than enough firepower for a single warrior. A wide-bore flamethrower launches jets of burning Napflex gel, burning down obstacles and any enemies using them as a cover. A vented plasma bolt launcher has limited ammunition, but fires explosive charges over 200 meters. Cardo's obsession with weapon modification makes him the best armorer of the Knights. He also carries a compact, expedient blaster pistol. Ushar. Ushar is the knight most likely to force prisoners to grovel for mercy. He tests the mettle of his victims, Those who whimper for help are deserving of slow punishment, while those who fight back are to be lauded. Ushar's helmet bears the crumple mark of a particularly feisty prisoner who retaliated. This desperate effort earned them Ushar's respect and a swift death. Ushar's signature weapon is a war club with a blunt, heavy end that helps drive kinetic energy to a concussion field generator. This feature can produce a widely dispersed concussion blast. Trugden. A collector of trophies from fallen conquests, Trugden adds to his weapons and armor as his victories grow. His patchwork helmet indicates that he defeated a death trooper at some point in the past, a remarkable achievement given that their strength and rarity. His signature weapon is an enormous vibro cleaver, the ultrasonic technology that rapidly vibrates the blade edge for extra cutting power is an add-on modification to a traditional primitive weapon. When not swinging the hefty blade in combat, Trugden either rests the blunt end over his shoulder, holds it via the weight-reducing hose lining the blade's spine, or attaches band oiler straps to it and slings it over his back. Karuk. The most solitary of the knights, Karuk serves as the group's rifleman and the pilot of the Night Buzzard. He is the one most likely to remain behind, perched on a high vantage point, covering an assault with his precision marksmanship. The blinder flaps on his helmet focus his attention on his target, and his aim is further sharpened by concentrating on the force. He carries no bladed weaponry, relying instead on his multi-barreled custom-designed rifle, which has rapid fire, sniping, and pump-action plasma bolt firing capabilities. Finally, Aplek. Whereas most of the knights prefer a straightforward and violent approach to eliminating their targets, Aplek revels in deception. As a strategist, he employs feints and misdirections to trap an opponent. On his belt, a smoke dispenser that obscures visions and disrupts sensors. His own nascent force abilities allow him to peer through such screens. As a warrior, the sinister face of his battered helmet suggests an unsettling ruckus, as he delights in his tricks. He preferred lethal weapon, though as an ancient Mandalorian executioner's axe. More on the Knights of Ren's weapons. The battered, handcrafted appearance of their weapons and equipment further adds to the aura that surrounds the Knights of Ren. It is immediately clear that they are all well acquainted with violence and strife, for they carry the scars of the implements of such with them. Although appearing intimidatingly ununified at first, closer examination reveals that each knight is distinct, expressing preferences in tactics and combat style. All of the gear is custom, either built from scratch or heavily modified after capture. Aboard their vessel, the Simeong metalsmith Albrecht repairs their armor, while the knight known as Cardo tends to their weapons. Gear must be sturdy and reliable for the knights to be effective in their brutal band conquest. Even though most primitive weapons in the knight's arsenal receive a crude technological boost, the weighted clubs and axes carried by Ushar and Aplek would be deadly with just the muscle power of their wielders, delivering crushing blows. However, with the flick of a switch or a twist of a dial, they take on additional attributes that may make the difference in battle. Ushar's club builds up a concussion charge in the kinetic generator, which can be released as a sudden shockwave. Aplek's antiquated Mandalorian long axe becomes a conduit for ultrasonic energy, vibrating its sharpened edge to enhance its cutting power through armor and bone. The Knights of Ren purposely shield their features with masks and battle helms, for they find their victims project their most terrifying nightmares into the absent faces as they strike. Anonymity equals intimidation to the knights. A few of the Knights of Ren brandish blaster weaponry, heavily modified, customized to their personal preferences. Vikrul and Cardo have holstered blaster pistols so that they could almost be considered standard, were it not for the removal of the safety circuitry so that they can more quickly and dangerously expend their ammunition. The big guns belong to Karuk and Cardo are truly one-of-a-kind hodgepodge constructions. Karuk's rifle has been 3 firing modes across 2 barrels, including a pump-action plasma bolt launcher that feeds specialized ammunition into the larger firing chamber. Cardo's overpowered arm cannon turns him into a one-man heavy turret. The blade weapons wielded by Vikrul and Trugden both feature ultrasonic vibrotech settings that increase their lethalness, such that even glancing hits can produce deadly lacerations. The blades themselves are made of crucible steel with Frick or Beskar fragments, making them incredibly strong. Though a lightsaber blade will cut through these weapons, it does require a greater application of pressure to do so. And that's everything we have about the Knights of Ren. So that's about 10 minutes worth of information there. There's a lot of info about the Knights that we got out of this visual dictionary, so hopefully at some point we get some type of spin-off, whether it be a book line, a comic line, even a TV series, something to give us more about the Knights of Ren and their journeys. Thank you guys for watching. May God bless you and the Force be with you. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it!
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.